Hello everyone and welcome to Siriana Tarot. This is a no communication love reading for Leo, focused on a connection where communication may currently be limited, paused, or unclear. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. Clear messages, advice, and guidance for my Leos, please. All right, so your person is showing up as the Fool in reverse, Aries energy. They're viewing you as the Eight of Cups in reverse. And their future actions towards you are the Nine of Wands, okay? And we see the Nine of Coins in reverse. Now, I feel like with the Nine of Coins in reverse, your person might have some fear of abandonment kicking in, okay? Or they may have some codependency issues. Now, that could be unhealthy coping mechanisms, but it could also just be that they have abandonment wounds here that are being triggered. So for some of you too, this person might not be completely single. Of course, I feel like you would already know that. The Fool in reverse tells me this person is either feeling foolish or they're worried about taking a risk here, or they feel like coming towards you might feel risky, that you're gonna, I don't know, judge them or reject them. All right, so let's see. This person may have also acted impulsively and they're really kind of regretting it. They may have been under the influence when that happened for some of you. All right, so we see the Hierophant card. So they definitely feel like there's a spiritual connection between you and them. The Hierophant tells me that they do want a relationship with you. And we see the Five of Wands, but they're also feeling really conflicted. So we see double fives coming through. You might want to pay attention to that number sequence here, which indicates fluctuation and change, maybe conflict. I do feel like this person is experiencing some inner conflict. And again, maybe because they have some abandonment wounds triggered, and maybe they don't want you to see that. Maybe they feel like they acted foolishly. Maybe they've been argumentative with you, jealous. But at the same time, it's like they want a relationship and they feel this spiritual commitment with you. The Eight of Cups in reverse is telling me that either this person is hoping you'll come back or they feel like you will be coming back around to them. The Six of Wands in reverse tells me that they're seeing you as ignoring them. So again, if there's been a fight or an argument here, they worry or they feel like you've ignored them. And the Hermit card in reverse, they really, really want to see you though. I feel like this person has this sense of urgency, and I think that's that abandonment wound that I'm picking up on. It's like they just want to see you. They want to talk to you. They want to get eyes on you. They want to know what you're up to. But it's like you're ignoring them. And they know that you're conflicted either about what's happened or, how they treated you or whatever's happened here between the two of you. This person definitely is bringing like a nervous, anxious energy here to this connection. They might have an anxious attachment style. But they're definitely feeling foolish. And this person is Nine of Wands. Their future action is them taking like a little bit of a break. This is the Wounded Warrior. This is somebody who definitely holds a torch for you. But I do think they're like trying to hold back before they make that final push. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. But they're not quite ready to come forward, or they don't have a strategy. But they have made up their mind that they do want to invest here, Leo. And you're showing up as the Ten of Wands in reverse. So some of you, you've already let this go. If this was heavy or this is something that brought you a lot of drama, the Ten of Wands in reverse tells me that some of you, you're like done, right? Like this was too much. It didn't feel in alignment. You know, there was always fighting, bickering, and arguing, and you're ready for something new. But for others of my Leos, you do want a fresh start here. And but you need to get something off your chest. You need to clear the air. You need to tell it to them straight. All right. And that's not my advice. That's how you're feeling, feeling internally. All right. So let's go ahead and see what else we need to know. What else do we need to know about this person? Okay, so we see mature man. Now remember, my readings are not meant to be gender specific, but some of the cards that I use are. I do think that this person displayed some immaturity, okay? And I think you're taking a good hard look at that. Whether there's an age difference or not, I think they acted immaturely with that Fool card. We see sudden wealth. Some of you, this person, you know, I do feel like this is somebody who's probably worked hard for everything that they've gotten, or everything that they have. But sometimes you might feel like this person has a tendency to rely on luck rather than hard work. I don't know, when it comes to just life in general, and you're kind of looking at that, like that can be hard to build with somebody like that. And we see change energy. I do think this person wants to come towards you. I do think this person is changing, or wants to change the situation. But I still think that they're not quite ready to come towards you, even though they've made up their mind. They may know they need to make, change up codes of conduct here in this relationship. But I do think this person, they're ready for a change here. They want more peace and harmony, but I don't know that they're going to be able to bring it to you. Just because I feel like they still have some work to do. I think they still have some maturing or some growing to do. And again, there may be some codependency here, unhealthy coping mechanisms that do get in the way. All right, so let's go ahead and see what do we need to know about them? What might be holding them back? So it feels complicated, Leo. All right, let's see. Love is the answer. Love won't solve your problems. You need to work on being independent. So isn't that an interesting message? It's a repeat of what I've been saying. This person may jump from one relationship to another. This person may be hoping you're going to solve their problems, or relationships are going to solve their problems. Okay. And let's see. And lone wolf. Are you really a loner, or are you afraid of loving someone who could hurt you? Yeah, I don't get that this person's a loner. In fact, I think this person is probably somebody who jumps from one relationship to the next, or is always expecting that love is going to make everything right or everything better, and they kind of avoid looking at themselves or doing their own work. Now, this person may have a tendency, though, not necessarily to be a lone wolf, but afraid of loving someone who could hurt you. And I kind of feel, Leo, that they've fallen in love with someone, you, okay, aka you, that they actually feel deeper for than they have anybody else. Because this person may be used to going out with people who are, how do I say this? I don't want to say beneath them, but maybe, they're used to being like out of other people's league. And that way leaving them or leaving the connection isn't as painful. I hope that makes sense. But with you, it's different. Okay. So let's go ahead and see what do they want to say to you, Leo? What does this person want to say to my Leos? Stability. I want to work on my foundation and finances to prepare for a fresh start. So it's like this person is looking for stability, but the only thing I'm seeing, especially when I pulled this sudden wealth card, this person wants stability, and I feel like, Leo, you probably offered that or represent that to them. But like I said, sometimes, even if they've worked hard for a lot of the things they have, sometimes they rely on luck rather than hard work. And I feel sometimes that can be something hard to build on or to build with. And they may be looking for a relationship or looking to you to provide them stability that they can't quite provide for themselves. Okay, so that, that can feel a little bit heavy at times. And we see projections. Our situation is different. Refrain from imposing your past experiences on our connection. So again, maybe they feel like you were comparing them to your previous relationships and they didn't think that was fair. Okay, they want you to stay present. They want you to see them for who they are. But truthfully, Leo, the 9 of Cups in reverse, the Fool in reverse, the 5 of Wands, I can see why you're questioning this. Because that's not an energy of stability. It's not an energy of maturity. It's not an energy of balance. And that is something to really take into consideration, okay? So let's go ahead and see if there's something that we're not seeing. Is there anything here that we're not seeing? All right, we see childhood sweetheart. So some of you, this may be somebody you dealt with in the past or somebody you've been dealing with for a long time. It is kind of a 6 of Cups energy for me as a reader. And I do feel that some of you, you may have a soft spot for this person because of your history. All right. And relationship of convenience. But this is interesting because I do feel some of my Leos, I don't think you feel like this is a relationship of convenience. I don't think that they necessarily see it that way because I do think they're much more emotionally attached than that card indicates. But relationship of convenience also tells me that they rely on you for stability. Right? And it feels like it's a lot of pressure. And I feel like, you know, it's one thing for two people to love and support each other. And, you know, there's sometimes you're going to be more stable than your partner. And there's nothing wrong with supporting them at that time. But it's like, that doesn't give them free reign just because you're stable and you're steady. It doesn't give them free reign to like act a fool whenever they want. And it feels like that kind of happens consistently. So I want you to pay attention to that. All right. What else do we need to know? What else do we need to know here? Your inner voice is calm. Listen to that one, because I do think you might end up having like a flurry of emotions. I do think this is emotionally charged. I think sometimes this can be confusing either because of your history or because there's this like very reactive energy between the two of you. So listen to your inner voice. That one is calm. And yeah, this is what I'm getting. This feels one-sided for a reason, Leo. Okay, this feels one-sided for a reason because it is. Okay, it's coming through as one-sided. And like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with offering stability and security to your partner when they're going through a tough time, or maybe you deal with conflict differently. But, you know, they have to be able to give something back. All right. All right, what else do we need to know here? Final messages, advice, and guidance for my Leos, please. Uproot bad habits. You have let bad habits take hold of your life. It's time to uproot them and start fresh if you want to see a positive change in your life. Okay, so I feel like this is a real question here for my Leos about, you know, whether or not, what are your motives for being in this connection? And is this still a healthy connection for you? Because Spirit's saying, Leo, you're in alignment. Everything is aligning perfectly in your life. What didn't make sense in the past will now start to fall into place. So you're in alignment. It doesn't feel like this person is. And it feels like it's more of a consistent pattern than just like a one-off time or one-off period for them. So a lot to think about here, Leo. I do hope these messages help. I'm sending you love and light. Take care.